We don't think of them. I was looking through the list of the type of health workers that exist in any medical facility, and I realized that you have orderlies, and you think about it, orderlies are not usually even noticed when you walk into a hospital, but these are the people who are responsible to make sure that the environment, the floors, the space within which everything else will function is clean. That's their job. And yet, we so often don't even notice them. And I think it's a very important thing for us to do, that all the entire spectrum, from the highest to the most seemingly insignificant, of health worker, we need to appreciate all of them. I was looking through this list of different types of health workers, and I realized that there's even a category of people called medical equipment preparers. Medical equipment preparers. As I looked at the description, it says that they are the ones who are supposed to sterilize all equipment before it's used in, for example, the theater. Right, that's their job. Medical equipment preparers. And so I want to say a big shout out to all the health workers, including medical equipment preparers and orderlies. It's important that you're doing your job, and we appreciate you here on Breakfast Daily on City TV.
Yes, and speaking of other people who are also doing great work, our market women, they have been complying since the very first day we started spraying the marketplaces. And some market women in Nima are actually practicing a shift system to help create space for social distancing. So our colleague, Awa, was there. We'll take a look at Awa's report and then continue the show.
Market was closed on Friday by the Ayawaso East Municipal Assembly after traders failed to comply with social distancing directive. Authorities at the assembly decided to reopen the market after some deliberations with the various market leaders yesterday, where the traders agreed to operate a shift system to avoid overcrowding in the market. The traders were then given cards for them to know exactly how they are going to operate. At the time of City News' visit to the place this morning, it was observed that market women who were plying their trade on the street just outside the market were not observing the social distancing protocol. However, for the traders in the market, they were seen to be practicing the social distancing. Some traders who spoke to City News say they want the assembly to evacuate the traders selling on the street to save their market from being shut again.
I'm yet to see any police or military officer on the street controlling the people. In the morning, it was the women themselves who went to the street to drove out the fishmongers from Jamestown and the environs. So I'm still appealing to the authorities to at least bring in some enforcement to take care of this issue.
We don't have problem with the social distancing because from where I'm selling my goods and where this table is, there is a social distance between them. I put my box on the floor, then I select my tomatoes. This woman will be selling a thing. So from year to year, there is a social distance. We don't know what they are trying to tell us. If they say it is the market, then the market, we are. If you can go around the market and see, there is social distance because from year to year where the woman is selling things, it's a social distance. So we don't know what they are trying to tell us.
I feel excited because I'm staying at home, doing nothing, very bored. So at least, and then let's say there is no money. So at least I'm here to make money. Let's say if a customer comes, you see that they said 2 meters away. So I am educated, so I know 2 meters. So yeah. So when, for instance, if the person is here, I'm somehow inside the let's say just to yeah. So that's how I observe mine.
Nima Divisional Police Commander ACP Abraham Akwe tells City News the police will use robust force to deal with the recalcitrant traders who are defying the directive on social distancing.
But now that it has come to our knowledge that no, they cannot abide with that external discipline, it means that you have to install the external discipline by deploying more security officers, the joint effort of the police and then the military, so that at least you will maintain sanity.
So does that mean you are going to employ more force?
Certainly. When persuasion fails, force must be applied. Yes, not necessary force. We are going to graduate our force. Yes, so you'll be a little robust at the tactical level. Yes, but if you go and then they comply, then there won't be the need for us to apply any force. But if when you go and then the people are recalcitrant, then you need to apply the minimum force in order to achieve our desired objectives.
All right, so that was a report by our colleague Hawa, and it's an amazing thing to see that in Ghana we can actually implement this, and it looks like the market women themselves are taking the responsibility to say we need for our markets to function in this way so that nobody has the basis to come and say they're shutting us down anymore. And I think that we need to replicate this across all the markets. All the MMDs in the entire capital need to look at what is happening at Nima and replicate in all the different markets around the city and everywhere in the country, really. That's how we need to function, so that eventually it becomes a cultural thing that, we respect space between each of us, and social distancing is come to stay. It should be part and parcel of what it is that we do, Jifa.
Yeah, I completely agree, because, as you can see here, what I find interesting about this report is, on the one hand, when you stay outside of the market, that's where you see people not practicing social distancing and doing whatever they want. But once you actually make your way inside the market, then you see that there's some sort of order and compliance as far as social distance is concerned. So perhaps this is a great opportunity for authorities to begin to get rid of all the people who are selling
the excess,
at places where cars. These cars are not even supposed to be there, because those cars are also supposed to be in the station. We've done reports about tractor drivers refusing to go inside the stations to pick up passengers and taking the place where passengers are supposed to walk. Now traders see that passengers are there, so they've also left the marketplace
and also come out there,
sell there. Pavements. And most of these people out here, they don't even pay tolls. So the market women, they actually have their stalls. They comply to whatever rules that are going on. So I think when you're looking at it from the outside, you would think that they are not compliant. And as the market woman said, the first person I spoke to said, when you come inside the market, you see that we are practicing social distancing. We're doing everything we're supposed to do to ensure that we don't spread the virus. But when you stay on the outside and you see this chaotic situation going on, it's very easy for you to generalize it and say the entire market is not complying. But look at the inside of the market here. There's more than enough space
between the people
for people to actually practice social distancing.
I can't even believe this is Nima Market, because I've been there before and it's pretty congested. To see it like this, it's impressive. It means we can do it.
Definitely, and I like that they are doing the shift system. So if me as a customer, I go there today, I know that in the afternoon, maybe my salmon seller would come, or in the evening, this type of person will come, whatever I need. So there's some sort of structure to it. There's no need for all of us to come there.
So I think the way, from what I understand, I think the way it's supposed to work is that, so vegetables will come, let's say, on Tuesday. So then if you are looking to buy vegetables, you know that there's no need to go there on Monday, because Monday, nobody will be selling vegetables on Monday, and I think that, that sort of structure, if the markets implement it effectively and it sticks, the consumers will also quickly learn the different routines and follow suit, and then everybody will be happy at the end of the day.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I think all the other markets should learn from this experience, right? It's possible for us to practice shift system within our market spaces. We heard from the president on Sunday, and he said we should try to do what the supermarkets are doing, right? If supermarkets can do it, there's no reason why marketplaces cannot do it, and NEMA is leading the way. I look forward to hearing more stories from other markets on how they are complying by the social distancing order. It's important. It's for our own health. We all go to these marketplaces, even if you are the boss of your company, whatever the case may be. Your house girl or your house boy will go there. If they go touching people, they will bring the virus back home to you and your family. So I think it's important for every single one of us to begin to ask ourselves, how do we create this kind of order in our marketplaces? And NEMA has shown us the way to go. I do think that the police should probably clear off all the people who are selling on the streets and demand that if you're going to sell in a marketplace, you need to have your own store inside the market. And as customers, when we go to these marketplaces, let's not just buy from the people there, because we're encouraging bad behavior. We're encouraging an illegality. Let's actually go inside the market, because if we go there, the people know that we are spending our monies inside the market. They will leave the roadside and actually go inside. But if we continue to spend our monies with the people on the roadside, if we continue to take the trotros on the roadside, they won't do the right thing. So I think that the market women are leading the way. We also have a role to play to not enable this bad behavior of people selling on the roadside. It's not even humane, you know, to be selling things on the floor by the road. The car is coming, dirty water will just splash on the same vegetables that you're going to buy. Just go inside. It's more decent.
Yeah. You know, I also saw a picture from Takrady and how they had, opened up, and the social distancing was perfectly done. It was very similar to the picture we saw from India. You know, they had drawn the lines, and it's like everybody stay in your space, and having the vegetables that they were selling were in baskets and all of that. I think we need to promote these things and make sure, not just promote them, insist on them, so you don't put food stuff on the ground. Okay, no food stuff should be on the ground. It's important. So we need to use, this was what the women in engineering were saying, suggesting last week when we spoke to them. So use the raffia baskets. You're sitting out in the open sun. Make sure you have your raffia hats. If you don't have canopies, there's ways to fix all the different issues that we have, but we have to deliberate about them. We can't just wish it happens, but we have to take steps and make it happen. I think it's very, very important for us to do this. And then also the general understanding, the numbers of the people. The problem we're going to have is that as you've taken out some numbers from the market in terms of creating space between the people, some people are going to argue and say, but I don't get space in the market, so where should I sell? Then we have to start looking at opening up other market spaces, so that we absorb some of those extra numbers. Because even with the shift system, we'll find that there are some people who may not be able to get space to sell, and so we'll opt to do the wrong thing. But we need to address all those aspects as well, so that we don't end up fighting the good thing that we are doing.
I completely agree. And I think henceforth the way to go is don't buy from any trader who's not practicing social distancing. Don't buy from a trader who doesn't have on their face mask. They could be talking, the whole marketplace, people are just talking. 2 cities, 3 cities, they are just splashing saliva all over the fruits and vegetables that you are going to buy. Right? And a lot of truck drivers and taxi drivers have also started this policy of not letting passengers in who don't have on face masks. So we need to be each other's keepers. You are not doing that to punish the person, right? When I initially walked into a bank and they said you can't come in if you don't have a face mask. I felt attacked. But then I tried to reason with what they were coming from, and I understood that they are trying to protect me. So get your customers, get your passengers to understand that, and you as a shopper to tell the trader, I'm not buying from you because you're not practicing social distancing and you don't have on your face mask. When you come back tomorrow, you'll see them practicing social distancing with their face mask on.
Yeah, so we have a message here. This is coming from Duke Russell. Says, hi, Jifa. Kindly wish my sister, Mrs. Samantha Kusi Apia of Persis Mining Limited, a joyous birthday. She's the best in the whole world.
Aw, happy birthday, Samantha. We hope you enjoy this day to the fullest. And you share a birthday with a very special lady, Jessica Opari-Safor.
Yep.
So happy birthday to both of you. We hope you enjoy your day.
Well, we have a lot coming up in the rest of the show. News review will be up next. And my name is David Kwekusechi.
And I am Jifa Ekia Amatam. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello to the youth out there. My name is Mahamudu Baumia, Vice President of the Republic. I would like to talk to you about the coronavirus pandemic that we are dealing with at the moment. It is a virus that has infected over 1.7 million people worldwide, and over 107,000 people have died from it. It is a virus that is transmitted either through touching somebody, shaking their hands, that they can transmit the virus if they are positive, or through sneezing, coughing, that can bring out droplets, which can touch you. So this is how it is generally transmitted. And because of that, we have the science telling us that we should try and maintain distances between people, 1 meter to 2 meters of distances, so that the droplets will not be able to travel very far. It is therefore very important that we follow the instructions that have been given to all of us. Minimize or don't shake anybody's hands.
Data, extra minutes, and extra unlimited calls. Not just that, even our extra data doesn't expire. Simply dial *111# to bundle now. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Agriculture is the backbone of Ghana. For the prosperity of the Ghanaian economy, it is imperative for the youth to develop interest in agriculture. The Living Fields Agri-Challenge provides the opportunity to train and develop the next top agribusiness entrepreneurs. For this maiden edition, we have 12 contestants, 4 production groups. Economic viable and market-oriented vegetables will be cultivated. At least 4 agribusiness startups. Over 300,000 Ghana cedis worth of amazing prizes to be won at the end of the Agri Challenge. Living Fields Agri Challenge is proudly sponsored by media partners. Powered by PB Studios.
Living Fields Agri Challenge every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. only on City TV.
welcome back. It's time for us to do the news review. The show is interactive, so don't forget the hashtag is Breakfast Daily to let us know what you're thinking. Also, the WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. If you happen to be outside Ghana, kindly use +233 to let us know what you're thinking. I'm going to go and read through the few headlines that we have here. I'll do a few online stories as well, and then I'll introduce my guest to you, and we will have a conversation. So on the front page of the new Crusading Guide, GRA begins ICOMs at ports for import and export transactions. Arrest Sam George, group demands. Massive disinfection exercise at Kotoka International Airport and 3 others by Zoom Lion. Muslim community donates 130,000 Ghana cedis to COVID-19 Trust, National Trust Fund. COVID-19, precious mining disinfects communities. On the front page of the Chronicle, Minister shreds NDC argument on 88 hospitals. Government agrees to pay off GC net. There's a question there. Police bust national security officers for gold bribery. Arrest NDC invaders of EC workshop. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, COVID-19, Zoom Lion disinfects Kotoka and 3 other airports. Confirmed COVID-19 cases now 1,671. 16 die, 188 recover. Dialogue with employees over COVID-19. National Tripartite Committee urges employers. Integrated Customs Management System takes off to become mandatory by June. This is from the GRA. COVID-19 combat. KNUST, another developed rapid diagnostic test kit to support testing regime in Ghana. On the front page of the graphic, the Daily Graphic, address potential food insecurity. NDPC urges government. KIA prepares to resume domestic flights. Tripartite Committee agrees on steps to deal with COVID-19 impact. Use COVID-19 to build local industries. This is from Dr. Sipayanki. On the front page of the Daily Statesman, Mahama's COVID-19 propaganda exposed. Distributes food to 8 NDC households at Kuluedo for PR. Ghana's economy robust enough for COVID-19 fight, says Information Minister. Speaker recalls MPs for discussions on COVID-19 tax waivers and others. On the front page of the Custodian, hand washing, best option against COVID-19, as UDS research shows 97% of sanitizers are fake. We have robust economy to fight COVID-19. This is upon Nkrumah. Government wants opportunistic landlords. COVID-19 pulls MPs to Parliament again. On the front page of the Gold Street Business, BOG warns of imminent inflationary risk, supply disruption, fiscal pressure risks to push inflation upwards. COVID-19, GRA Finance Ministry discuss new 2020 revenue budget. 2020 WTPO conference finally postponed. Let's do some online stories. And on citynewsroom.com, we have GRA wants GCnet system restored at ports over challenges with Unipass. Nanado hasn't shown commitment to investing in health sector, says Kwache Ofosu. Health minister's excuses, in quotes, for stalled health projects untenable. Again, Kwache Ofosu. Don't rent houses to foreigners without COVID-19 clearance, attaching to landlords. Government has never abandoned Mohammed's health projects. This is Ajiman Menu, the health minister. All right, and on citybusinessnews.com, we have airports are likely to be open for domestic flights this weekend. This is coming from the aviation minister. Unipass rollout. GIF anticipates revenue losses over unresolved challenges. GCnet GCMS services to be operational on April 29th. That's today. This is from GRA. Shippers Authority explains delays in implementing suspended demurrage and rent charges. COVID-19, BOG is hopeful its 5 major decisions will lessen impact on financial sector. And on my Joy Online, Koa Herbal Center urged to collaborate with FDA to deal with contamination. Parliament resumes on Thursday, April 30th. Ashesi University ranked first in Ghana, 9th in Africa in 2020 Times Higher Education Impact Ranking. And on BBC.com, U.S. confirms 1 million coronavirus cases. 1 million coronavirus cases. And so for more news, kindly visit citynewsroom.com. And for more business news, kindly visit citybusinessnews.com. All right. Now, we're going to have an interesting conversation this morning. Of course, it's COVID-19 heavy. My guest, Joy Zampare, who's the national Deputy National Communications Director of the NPP, is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm very well, thank you. How have you been?
Oh, cool.
With everything that's going on?
What else can you do? You keep cool and
well, you look pretty cool, you know. It's like you're not bothered by too much.
You see, that's been the problem.
Yeah.
When crisis like this arises and you don't stay calm, and you allow fear and agitations to take over life, it breaks you down, it tears you apart, and in fact, you messed up everything.
Yeah.
So you only relax, take it one step at a time, and you sail through.
Thank you. Well, my other guest is joining us by Zoom technology. She's Dr. Grace Ayensu Dankwa. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's good to have you here.
It's good to be here.
All right. So, Dr. Ayensu Dankwa is a member of the NDC COVID-19 response team and also the parliamentary candidate for Esikado Ketan constituency. All right. So, as we're having this conversation, kindly remember that the hashtag is Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line is 0550-585-832. And let me just quickly read the first story that we have for us today, taking it from the Ghanaian Times. All right. Case count has gone up again. I'm going to read it quickly. All right. So from page 12 of the Ghanaian Times, the story here says, confirmed COVID-19 cases now 1,671. 16 die, 188 recover. Ghana's coronavirus case count has increased by 121 from the initial 1,550, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 1,671. The Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Patrick Abuaje, has announced the number of persons who have perished from the disease has increased by 5, bringing the total deaths to 16. Taking his turn at the minister's media briefing on the disease codenamed COVID-19 in Accra yesterday, Dr. Abuaje said 188 persons have recovered from the disease, adding that there are more patients waiting for their second test to be discharged. Currently, about 1,461 are well and have no symptoms and are responding well to treatment, Dr. Abuaje said. We have about 6 who are moderately to critically ill. 2 of them are at the University of Ghana Medical Center, 3 are at the Ghana East Hospital, and 1 at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. All the other parts of the country do not have any critical case, he explained. According to Dr. Abuaje, 237 of the COVID-19 patients were in isolation at state-managed centers across the country, with 174 in Accra, 50 in the Eastern region, and 9 in the Ashanti region, with 5 in the Northern Regional Capital, Tamale. When it comes to the case counts in the region, as at now, there are 8 cases in Upper West, 18 in Upper East, 13 in the Northern region. Oti has 17, Volta has 11, Eastern region has 57, Ashanti has 84 from both the normal and enhanced, normal surveillance and enhanced contact tracing. Central region has 18, Western has 1, Western North has 1, he elaborated. So far, Dr. Abuaje said the Savannah, Bono East, and Ahafo regions have not recorded any case despite active surveillance going on in those areas. Ghana on March recorded its first 2 cases of COVID-19, which has killed more than 200,000 persons globally. The disease, which was first diagnosed in Wuhan, Hubei province in China, and the story goes on there. All right, so let me start with Joyce. What do you make of the current case count?
Well, let me say good morning once again to yourself, your crew, my sister watching via Zoom, and then to our cherished viewers. Once again, thanking the good Lord for sparing us our life. It's not by our deeds, it's not by our thoughts, but it's just by His grace. Let me extend my warm felicitation to the President of the Republic, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, with his team. I can't mention every individual, for how far the Lord has brought us and what He's going to do in our life and in this country. COVID-19 and its matters and how far we've gone with it. It's not been an easy task. It all, like we all know, it started as a mere epidemic, and then it's metaphors itself to a pandemic. Ghana, this is our case as we speak, like you said this morning, yesterday when the Director General of Ghana Health Service gave his press briefing at the Information Ministry, making us realize how the figures had risen up to, and then the death toll. Well, I can say that due to the alertness, the awareness, and then the measures government had put in place, experience within the same period that this pandemic broke, then you could say that we've done well. We need to pat ourselves as a nation. I tell you, when you walk through town and you look, I ask myself, is this Ghanaian people we talked about that, oh, we are indisciplined, but you could see that, look, it get to a point in man's life that you have nothing to do but to comply to the rules and regulations that has been spelled out. And so let me say kudos. I cannot say that without giving thumbs up to our health workers We can't leave them out. You know, crises come, we manage them. There are wars, there are 80 forms of conflict and things that happen that are managed. But in terms of health, that is one thing you cannot downplay. You see, and when it's pandemic, it is something that is airborne, it's something that is transmitted and all those things. That tells you the magnitude of the case. And how it is handled, it's one thing that you need to be very, very wary of. So if we are frontline health workers who have dedicated their lives and everything in making sure that we control and contain, control, cure, bring test and cure to our people, then we cannot say anything that to say that kudos to them. And we pray that the good Lord will continue to protect them. As I speak, when I was coming, I was just listening to your early morning discussions, and I was so happy. I was intrigued when you did mention the issue of us making sure wherever we find ourselves, we can't leave them out. We need to, when we thank God for how far He's brought us, the next people we should look up to is our health workers, because the fight of this pandemic lies in their hands. As much as it lies in our own safety, our hands, taking care, making sure we take the precautions to prevent ourselves from contracting these viruses. It comes back to them, because in the event, unlikely events that you are affected and other things, they are the first people
who will be exposed
to it. You understand? So I can say, in fact, if I say I want to line up my people to mention, I have so many health workers in my home that I can mention, from Ridge 37, Tamale Teaching Hospital, my own son, Dr. Zampari. It's always been my point, prayer point, contact prayer point. So we say that the good Lord will continue to protect them, because looking at other jurisdictions, you can see that the health workers have been hit so hard. Look at the case of Italy. Look at the instance of Spain. Health workers, and even the U.S., they were the most affected and hit a class of persons in this buhara of this pandemic. So we cannot. When the virus with the ailments of others, then you know the risks that they get themselves involved. You understand the risk. Let me say, I believe governments is still intensifying the contact tracing, which is one key cardinal issue that we need to concentrate as a country, because when you're able to do a lot of contact tracing, when you're able to do a lot of testing, that is where you can take away those who have come into contact, or those who are exposed, who have the viruses away, where isolation will take place, and then you make sure that you contain it within some segment of the community or environment, that you let others who are also, who might be prone to it, we can avoid getting them affected. So it's been good so far. I think as much as we applaud government for measures it's taking, we need to applaud ourselves as citizens. And yet, as much as we are applauding ourselves, we should not leave out the recalcitrant citizens who would take other things and want to have their own way. I just want to end by this one. Our borders, because we have a porous border town, you know this incident that happened in Tripoli, where you have this canoe operator trying to bring people illegally into this country. And look, when you talk to people outside Accra, especially the 3 northern regions, you realize that all the cases are cases that are coming from other jurisdictions. Not people, you know, Tamale, the few cases they had, the first woman they had, she's a Burkinabe how she managed to get into this country after even the lockdown. And then she came with her leg. She was not, in fact, it was after the first test of the one who brought her in that the person was positive, that they realized that. And then look at these people who were arrested by the regional minister in Co. And when you look at the history, like the president said, all those we are facing now are people who are still importing this thing to it. Yes, there have been few infection through the contact tracing that has been from people who have not been anywhere, but you can see that they're coming into contact with people who are already infected and are spreading it. There are other people who you could see that consciously they are just trying to spread the virus. Yesterday I was listening to a radio program where a young lady who has tested positive, she says she and her mother has been tested positive. Okay. And then the mother will not sit at home, but will still want to go to the market to do business.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Now, Dr. Yesu Dankwa, as a doctor and a public health person.
Thank you so much. First, I want to thank your viewers. I want to thank my panelists, and I also want to thank President John Mahama for putting me on the COVID-19 team and setting up such a stellar organization or stellar group of people, medical experts, people who have really done the Ebola crisis in Ghana, and the Ebola never got to Ghana, the former Minister of Health. So we really want to thank him for setting up this team, this technical advisory team that would help manage this COVID-19 crisis. When I'm looking at our numbers, several things I'm looking at, especially as a public health official. I'm looking at the lockdown. First of all, it took us about 40 days when the president first said that we had 2 cases. From 2, we went to 1,042. That is when the 7 days after that, we have gone up to 150. And in the last 4 days, since
1,550.
550, sorry. In the last 4 days, we have gone up to 1,671 with already 16 people dead. Then the numbers you mentioned, the Western region, you said 1 and Western Upper is 1. But the information we have in the Western region is that we have 9 cases.
Where is that information from?
This is the local health ministry.
Okay.
Health ministry, let me put it that way.
Okay, sure.
So those are the numbers that we have. So when I, as a public health official, I'm looking at these numbers, the 2 things I see. First, our trajectory is still going up. Remember the bell curve that we keep talking about, bell curve, and flattening of the curve, which was why we did the lockdown.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the bell curve. The bell curve is still rising. We are still on an upward trajectory.
You said that the reason for the lockdown was to flatten the curve, but that was not the reason for the lockdown, though.
They gave us 2 reasons for the lockdown.
Yeah.
The first one was to decrease the spread, and the second one was to help flatten the curve.
Okay.
Those were the.
Okay, go on.
Fast forward to today. Our curve is still at the highest trajectory. According to the government's own numbers, about 70% of the cases are now what we call locally acquired, or people with no prior travel history.
Yes.
So our numbers are contrary to what Joyce said, the numbers that we are having are mainly locally acquired. So what we are saying is that the curve is still rising, even now at a higher exponential phase, and we're nowhere near the flattening of the curve. So that means that our numbers are still going to continue to go up, and the lifting of the lockdown may not be the solution. And what we are doing in terms of testing now, enhanced contact tracing, we think that those numbers are going to go up. So maybe the best option out is to do what we call mass testing, implying that, for instance, if in the Western region there is a hot spot, an area where people keep getting it and they keep infecting each other, we can just go to that specific spot and do a mass testing. That means everyone in that locality should be mass tested. Because what we know about the virus, in terms of the biology of the virus, is that the people who are asymptomatic basically means that the people who have been infected but are not showing any signs or symptoms. So they are not coughing, they are not having a runny nose, they are not having a sore throat, they are not short of breath, and they don't have a fever. Those are the asymptomatic people.
Yeah.
We are learning that the virus, the people who are infected but are asymptomatic spread the virus or shed the virus the most. So it's going to be people who are normal, have zero symptoms, walking amongst us that are spreading the disease. What we're doing now in terms of our enhanced contact tracing is that when the person gets symptomatic, it's when we actually test them. Or that the person is a contact of a person who has tested positive. So in that situation, we are not picking up the people that are even more dangerous to the rest of the community or to the rest of the country, which is the asymptomatic person who has no symptoms, who's probably not even been traced to see who's the contact.
All right. So I'll let you continue. We have to take a short break. When we come back, I want you to expand that a little further and then talk about the rapid test kits as to, where it's being practiced right now and how important that is, you feel, to this fight. All right, so we'll come back after this short break. Please don't go anywhere.
Express Pay app. More social, more power, more services. Experience a cooler way of payments with exciting new features. Want to go social? Upload a cool image to add a personal feel to your account. Payments are even more seamless with an enhanced process. Mark some accounts as favorites so they are super easy to access. Even cooler, view payment due dates and check remaining balances for your favorite accounts. Want to repeat a payment? Do that right from the History tab. Have all your money in one place with a sleek look and feel. Bank Direct has had an awesome makeover. You can now send money instantly to 22 banks and counting. Express Pay. Payments simplified.
Welcome back from that break. We're in the news review segment of Breakfast Daily. The hashtag is Breakfast Daily. The WhatsApp line is 0550585832. My name is David Kwekusechi. My guests are here. We've been speaking with them already. Joy Zampare is the Deputy National Communications Director for the NPP. And just before we went for the break, my other guest who has joined us by Zoom is Dr. Grace Ayensu Dankwa, who's a member of the NDC COVID-19 response team and also parliamentary candidate for Esekado Ketan constituency. Now, Doc, you were saying earlier, you're trying to break it down for us to understand the need for us to get into rapid mass testing. Can you continue on that trajectory?
So, like I said, the way we're doing the enhanced contact tracing, it's really not going to get us the numbers and remove those asymptomatic people who are the ones who are more dangerous, who are spreading the disease. So what we need to do is what I said, mass testing. And then you mentioned about the rapid testing. The rapid testing, so right now what we're doing is we're doing what we call a PCR test. That is like an antigen test. So they take the sample, and we have now, I think, maybe 3 testing centers in the country. One in Noguchi, one in Kumasi, and I believe maybe one in Tamale. I'm not sure where the third one is. So what happens, for instance, in Takoradi, Western region, is that when we get a case, we have to take a sample from here, travel with the sample to Accra or Kumasi, and the test is done, and then the results come back to Takoradi. So that implies that we have a huge lag in testing. In other words, once we take the sample, it has to get to Accra. I don't know how many days or how long it would take to get to Accra. Then, like the Noguchi and the president said, there's even a backlog, implying that there are some samples that are already in the testing centers that have not been tested, are waiting to be tested, or that there are samples that are on their way to the testing center and haven't arrived. So that implies that there's a lot of people who maybe are positive, but we haven't tested. So that backlog makes me more concerned about what is happening. Then the second one is this asymptomatic person who has tested positive, but is walking, but has no symptoms and is walking around. So the recommendation with the mass testing implies that we do what you said was the rapid testing. The rapid testing is something like a malaria test. You see, when you do the malaria test, the rapid thing, or the pregnancy test, right? It's a small kit. You put the blood or whatever, sputum or whatever the sample is, and then it gives you the result instantly. Remember the HIV kits? Those things are what we call the rapid test. So what the rapid test is actually an antigen test. So it's a lesser, maybe
antibody test.
Antibody test, yes. The first one, the PCR, which is the one at Noguchi, which is the polymerase chain reaction test. That one is an antigen test. So the antibody test is the rapid test. So what it does is it gives you more of a faster result. You don't need all that equipment in the lab to get it done. And it also brings the testing closer to the people. Remember that back in the day or several weeks ago, it was in Kumasi and Accra. COVID-19 cases were in Kumasi and Accra. Then we did the lockdown. Then the people in Accra and Kumasi, most people left to go to the other regions and to their villages. So at that point, we said that because of what has happened, what's going to happen in the country is that we're going to see more cases in the regions. And lo and behold, we are seeing more cases in the regions. So to remove that backlog or to remove the lag in testing, if you have a rapid test, you can bring samples to Takrady. You can bring samples to Tamale. You can bring kits to Upper East, and they can test it there. That means that the test is closer to the people. It's not going to be that expensive, like sending it all the way by, you have to buy petrol. One of the regions, I think was Upper West, was complaining about how much petrol it takes to go every 2 days from the region to Noguchi to test. So it will remove all those little impediments and things that is affecting the testing lag, or what the president called the backlog. It will at least remove those things, and the testing will be closer to the people, so that those of us in the regions can get our results instantly and be up to date, and that would help us remove the asymptomatic people that are in the system that have no symptoms. Those are the more dangerous people. So the way we are currently testing is not going to help us. What's going to happen is that our bell curve and our trajectory is still going to continue to go up. If you noticed, in the last 7 days or maybe 12 days, our numbers have gone up significantly. In 7 days, we added about 500 cases. Now, in only 4 days since last Sunday.
I think that from what Doc is saying, I would like her comment on the fact that there's a lot of numbers that are in backlog, and they were clearing the backlog numbers. But yes, I think that the way forward is definitely from all accounts, both internationally and in Ghana, is a rapid test kit that we need to start using. Of course, KNUST has we already have a story online here. KNUST has developed a rapid diagnostic test kit for COVID-19, and Ghana, the Food and Drugs Authority, as well as Noguchi, are completing their work on the test, so that as soon as they verify that it's good to go, you can start mass producing, and put it out there for us to use. So I think that from that angle of things, it means that we can win the fight quicker, as it were. Any final thoughts before we go to the next topic?
Just as you said and what Doc said, government has not left out that option. if we can be truthful to ourselves, even the world was hit with a shortage of PPEs, kits, and all those things. So that is one thing that each country is trying to develop. Senegal has been able to produce, and they are even looking at expanding, enlarging their production to also give out to other countries. And it came as a great news to us for KNUST to come out with this test kit, which, like we all say, Noguchi and FDA should hasten with their test run, and then not that they should hasten to just let it fly. But when we were able to have a breakthrough there, that is good news. Nobody is taking out the rapid testing, you understand? It is when you have them, even it got to a point that even those masks got run out across the globe. And that is why the president did focus on the local production. And now we could say that. In fact, it is one thing that has also helped that look. It is boosting our local industries. It is pushing us to also look internally and not looking external for other things that will help us to run our health system. So it is a way forward for us to see how we will balance our health system, not only our health system, but the economy of each country, to know that you can be dependent on your own resources and things to make a way. You understand? So nobody is taking out the rapid testing. Nobody has left out that. It is one thing that government is thinking. And like you rightly said, there are backlog of people. In fact, they said if you run tests on over 100 and something thousand people, which we are looking at low, there should be a time that and I know it will be in the shortest time, that wherever you are, institutions out there in the market, because especially places where we have people converging a lot, like the market centers, and places that we need to run this rapid test to make sure that we are able to get. But when you study the history of the virus, the infection rate, you realize that it climbed up to a place before it drops because of the contact tracing and making sure that the tracing of individuals who are affected. And like we all said, and like Doctor also said, there are people whose immune system are so perfect that even when they have it, it's not easily known. They can do they can have their day-to-day normal lifestyles and those things. So they are the people that we need to all look out and fish out and get out, so that we make sure that we can bring the numbers down.
Okay, fantastic. Let's go to the next story. I want to just take quickly the next conversation on health infrastructure.
Sure.
All right. NDC and MPP are at it again. Bashing each other over who built and who didn't build and who was abandoned. Okay, so let me just quickly get this one for you. All right, so Nanado hasn't shown commitment. Okay, let me read the other one first. All right, so this one says complete abandoned hospitals instead of building new ones. This is a candor to government. Ranking member on Parliament's Health Committee, Kobna Minta Akando, has urged government to focus on completing abandoned health projects in the country instead of starting new ones. According to him, such an approach is feasible compared to the promise of completing over 90 hospital projects within a year with a non-existent source of funds. The president, in his 8th address to the nation on COVID-19, hinted of plans to build 88 new hospitals in districts without facilities across the country, as well as hospitals for the newly created regions. All right. Now, let me go on and add one more story to that before you come in. So, the government has never abandoned Mahama's health projects. This is Ajiman Meno. The Minister of Health, Kweku Ajiman Meno, has debunked flatly allegations that the health projects started by the erstwhile Mahama administration, John Mahama administration, have been abandoned by the current government. The president, in his address, spoke about the 88 new health facilities. The announcement led the ranking member on Parliament's Health Committee, Kobna Minta Akando, to accuse the government of abandoning health projects started by the Mahama-led administration, whilst urging the government to focus on completing abandoned projects rather than starting new ones that have no budgetary allocation. Joyce, doesn't he have a good point? Because you don't have a source of funding in terms of the current budget as it stands, but you're promising to build new hospitals. Meanwhile, there are hospitals that are there, okay, that have not been completed, and actually, to a lot of us, seem abandoned, literally, because City, as an organization, together with Occupy Ghana, actually petitioned the government to address this issue, because at the time we put in the petition, there was no activity at any of those facilities.
If you said there was no activity, I beg to differ.
As in the way they had been left in a state of incompleteness.
You see, it was work in progress. So if you tell me it was left as a work uncompleted, then I don't get it. You see, that's why I'm happy you said City News and then Occupy Ghana took a step. But I'm challenging the media to go back. How long has it been since you went there? Or you took your first step to go around?
Where?
You said you went around to check some of the uncompleted projects.
Yes.
And so how long has it been? No.
Over a year.
Have you over a year? So you've not gone back to see that the work we're going to do, whether there's been a follow-up, whether there's been a progress on it or not. Have you?
No, but listen.
So there's a big disservice.
It's not a disservice.
To
we petitioned the government.
And so the
government
you
says
there was a challenge somewhere. You petitioned government.
Yes.
After
so
your
government
petition,
is supposed to come and report back to the Ghanaians.
If government has not come back to report to you, you also fail to go back on your word to make sure that, look, we reported, we saw this thing, we petitioned government, we went to government.
How long does it take
up to date? Hold it. And that's why I want you to understand that, look, there's been a lot of work that has been done.
Over 90 facilities.
So don't take it as something. No,
Joyce,
I'm
over
not going
90
to allow
facilities.
you to move further.
No, I'm running the show. I'm running the show. It's not your show.
I understand you're running the show, but I'm here to also help us.
Let me position the
ground.
Let me position the conversation. Over 90 facilities. They're in different states of completeness. Okay. Now, how long do you say that it will take to complete 90 facilities that are, let's say, 50 to 90% complete on each of them? How long will it take to finish 90 facilities? Give us a sense.
I said I'm not in the same. You know, every project has its timeline. You know, every project has a timeline. When there are challenges and they go back to site, the contractors and then the ministry that awards the contract has their own timeline. So I'm not in the position to speak for.
So let's say what, a year, 2 years, 3 years?
Thank you.
No, I'm asking.
Yes, there are some that are 1 year, there are some that are 2 years, depending on the structure, depending on the facility, depending on how they want it to come out.
So then why do you say that we've done a disservice to Ghanaians if we've not gone back in
because
in
there
less than a year?
That has been completed. Some are almost 87, some are almost 97, some 90-something% in completion. So
give us examples of those.
You know, the Minister of Health has come out with some of the projects, and I'm not even going to take you. You remember the incident that happened in Gomua, those NDC MPs constituency, when the health minister went to commission the hospital, they brought the NDC tax. That it was the NDC that built it. So the MPP, even if we've come to finish, we should let me just bring the one. Now, let me bring this one. Updated on ongoing projects. There's this Adenta. The Adenta, let me give you the construction and completion of polyclinics in Greater Accra. Ogbojo, Adenta, Ashiama, Botiano, Oduman, Sege. Oduman and then Sege. The GAIS, you know, it's completed and it's under use. The Legon Hospital, completed and it's in use.
Legon Hospital?
The Legon was...
Which one? University of Ghana?
The University of Ghana.
Okay.
The University of Ghana.
But I know it's not complete, right?
You know they are in phases.
Yes.
And government has
awarded...
So
when you say complete, which one is which part is complete?
The first one that was almost complete, about 80-something. Now government has completed it, and it's under use.
So,
Used.
Are all the phases complete now?
Oh, yeah, but they are phase 1. Phase 1 is completed, so they are now going on phase 2.
Okay.
Government is going, and it's the same as REACH, that government has acquired loan for them to start the phase 2. Mm-hmm. You understand? Now, let me give you more.
Okay. Once you're looking for it.
No, they are here. I just
I'll
want
come
to
back to you. I want to hear from Doc. So, Dr. Ayesu Dankwa, we were having a conversation about the hospitals and those facilities that are in different phases of completion, and the NDC says to the government that they, rather than building the new ones, the 88 new ones, they should spend the money and resources wherever they'll find it from to complete the ones that are existing. Doesn't the president have a right to go into constructing, new ones if he wants to?
This matter is the most tragic of all the issues we are discussing. And for Joyce to sit there and make it the responsibility of City and also Occupy Ghana that they haven't gone back to check and all that stuff is also another tragic part of this whole issue. Let me tell you something. You said there are 90 hospitals that need to be completed. Second of all, University of Ghana Medical Center, phase 1 was completely done, finished, before the government took over University of Ghana. Remember when there were protests and then the government sat on the hospital for almost 3 solid years before they even started phasing in University of Ghana Medical Center. The phase 1 was already done. So what this government has to do is to continue with phase 2. Phase 1 is completed. There's nothing to do about phase 1. They have opened the hospital. Now they've opened the ICU section of the hospital, which has already had 16 ICU beds. This is a quaternary hospital. In other words, it's one of the ultra-modern, one of the best hospitals in the whole and the sub-region. They sat on it for years, at least 2.5, 3 years before, and there was a lot of protests. Like you said, City protested, Occupy Ghana wrote letters. Remember when the First Lady was doing the pediatric center in the... And then there was a gentleman placard. All those people, there was protests. Some of us talked before they even faced it. When they started with dermatology and all kinds of services that was like subspecialty services. They never opened the emergency service, and they never even truly opened the outpatient. As we speak today, that hospital is completely underutilized. It's a 600-bed quaternary, ultra-modern hospital, and it is completely underutilized. Only a few parts of it are being used now.
All right.
When you look at Bank Hospital, it's a 6-bed hospital. They have only opened 2 floors and 20 beds that they are using for VIP until the Ministry of Health comes and says we are using for VIP, and then there's backlash, and then he changes his mind that, oh no, it's not really for VIP. Since then, we have so many hospitals. For Mina, we have Sekendi, we have Abetifi, we have Ofanko Medical Center, we have Timpani, we have all these district hospitals that have not been opened. And now the president tells us that he's going to build 88 hospitals that you don't even have funding for. And that you only have 7 months to a new election where we don't even know that you are going to retain your seat. So we are saying that before you get to your 88 supposed hospitals in the sky, high in the sky hospital that may not come to fruition, we are saying that we have 90 uncompleted hospitals. It's incumbent upon government. It is not the media's fault. It is not Occupy Ghana's fault. It is the government's responsibility to open all these hospitals that we, the taxpayers of Ghana, use our monies to pay. When you look at the entire COVID-19, fighting the entire COVID-19, every single thing is completely incumbent or relying on the health facilities that President Mahama did. Rich Hospital is our premier COVID-19 hospital. John Mahama did. Bank Hospital, John Mahama. University of Ghana Medical Center, John Mahama. The one in La, John Mahama. All these hospitals, they finally begin to open the first phase of Angkor District Hospital. That is a John Mahama project. So the entire fight is based on what the President John Mahama in his visionary and is looking forward and caring about the Ghanaian people built. Yeah. Now all they have to do, add on to what he has done, complete the uncompleted. When you look at the UK, they have used a conference center to build a Nightingale Hospital, a 4,000-bed Nightingale Hospital at the Royal Wharf.
Okay, right.
Just to project to see the new people that are coming in. You have already existing uncompleted hospital. There is no excuse. There is nothing you can say that would make it better. Right. The point is, Ghanaians are going to need these facilities completed, finish phase 2 of the Ghana Medical Center, and let the Ghanaian people take advantage and use these facilities. They are already there.
Doc, but I have a question for you. Putting up, let's say, 90 plus facilities that will be in different states of incompleteness, why won't you just invest the money, appropriately and complete 50 of them within the time that you're in office? And I'm not quite sure if my logic is clear to you, but I'm saying that John Mahama, whilst he was in office, had the opportunity to put up certain facilities. Why overstretch yourself and overextend yourself and build to different states of incompleteness and finish them, let them be running?
I'm glad you yourself brought up the logic of this. You have existing uncompleted buildings, structures, hospitals. When you look at the Kumawu Hospital, a 120-bed capacity. It has a theater. It has a recovery unit. It has a medical surgical unit. It has an emergency department. Why would you leave all these things in the bush and say that you are building new ones?
Why didn't Mahama complete them? That's my question. Why didn't the former president complete them?
The former president completed a lot. I have mentioned some of the hospitals the former president completed, which is based of fighting everything they're using to fight this COVID-19. The Mahama did. So all they have to do is to expand on it, finish it, complete it, before you talk about 88 pie in the sky hospitals that don't exist.
Okay, thank you. So
very unfortunate.
She says your 88 hospitals are pie in the sky. You're dreaming.
She's daydreaming. She's
the things that are on the ground. Why won't you just finish them?
Those Takrade, Dodo, Kumawu things that hospital she's talking about. Fund was raised. It was commissioned November 2008.
You know Kumawu is incomplete, right?
Hold it. I just want to draw your attention to it. 2008, Kufuor's time, November. That was when the land, the sword cutting and commission, the fund and everything was raised. It took them 8 years. Why didn't they complete it? I said, Nanado Dankwa Kufuor said he's not leaving any project uncompleted. But as much as it's as long as it's
looking at those ones. So you're going to complete all the 19?
Of course, who say we will abandon anything? I've told you, I've given you examples of those that they have completed, those that are at various stages of completion. When you talk about the Amasaman Hospital, we had media people who went there and saw what they had put there and what it had to take this government to put it in its current state. You don't put skeleton and tell me you have completed.
Which hospital are you referring to? Are you referring to Guy East?
No, there was one hospital. There's one at Amasaman. Yes, in Amasaman. Okay. Go and ask. And when you get the health minister, he will address it. I said, Dodo, Kumawu, Takrade, Bekwai. Fund was raised in Kufuor's time. Some started with June, others November. When they came, it took 8 years. John Mahama in 2012 made mention of it in his State of the Nation. 2016 January, that they had to go back. So what is she telling me?
All right.
Look, I am telling you, if we have to, look, this government is committed. And like we said, look, there is nothing. To them, nothing is impossible. When we started with the ambulance service, they said nothing is not going to come. Today, at least, it has come to add up to the health system in this country.
All right.
The drones have come to add up. And there is a lot this government is going to do to make sure not only healthcare, but any facet of our economy will be handled, will be dealt with.
Thank you.
Doc, in fact, I wanted to go back and mention
your final
some
thoughts
of the
before
things.
We go.
Because she did mention the Formula Hospital. That started way back to a champion's time.
Thank you for everything. We want to thank our healthcare workers. We are appealing to government. Yesterday, the Ghana Medical Association came back and said that we need to give the PPEs that were promised to our healthcare workers. Now we have a lot of our healthcare workers. How many numbers from yesterday that have now tested positive? 13 doctors test positive. So the Ghana Medical Association is even expressed worry. Professor Dr. Pa Bedu, for the Ashanti Regional Chairman, expressed worry about the distribution of the PPEs. It's time they should bring the PPEs so we can protect our healthcare workers.
All right.
We're supposed to get 10,000. Jack Ma brought some, and now the U.S. government has brought some PPEs. Distribute the PPEs.
And we're producing a lot of them in Ghana too.
And let's protect them, because the data shows that 9 to 10% of the healthcare workers are going to be the forefront.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And let's protect our healthcare workers instead of just thanking them. We need them.
Thank you very much. Dr. Grace Ayensu Dankwa is a member of the NDC COVID-19 response team and also a parliamentary candidate for Esikado Ketan constituency. And then I also have in studio with me Joyce Zampari, who is the Deputy National Communication Director of the MPP. Thank you very much to my guests, and thank you very much for watching this segment of the show. We're coming back with something beautiful, some great music from Prince Matthew. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema, and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204 528 900 or 0244 707 859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the second floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethlog, experts in shipping logistics.
There is nothing as hard as a diamond. For buildings with superior strength that withstand all weather conditions, Diamond Cement should be your preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady, and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
Ghana is a beautiful country. There is so much of it you probably haven't seen, haven't experienced, haven't touched, haven't felt, haven't eaten. When this is all over, let's discover our land again with new eyes. Let's feel each other again. We are one people, brought together by destiny. Let's make that count. Let's show love for each other and our environment. Let's tell our stories, and let's watch and listen to our stories. There will be so much to tell. Ghana is a truly beautiful country. Be Ghana, stay in Ghana, experience Ghana, make Ghana great. And we will invite the world to come and experience Ghana too. But for now, stay home. Brought to you by the National Film Authority. Supports the Stay Home and Discover Ghana Later campaign. This channel supports the campaign.
God bless our homeland,
Imagine if you can get all the understanding on some of the difficult subjects you struggle with in school. As a student, do you feel dissatisfied with how hard it is to figure out the subjects you're learning? Or as a parent or guardian, do you worry that your child is struggling to understand some of the subjects in school? Well, now you don't need to sign up for extra lessons or tutors. Simply tune in to Class Act, Mondays to Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. on City TV. Class Act is a show that seeks to enable senior high school students gain a much better understanding of what they learn in school. All you need is a TV, a chair, your notebook, and your pen. Get clarity on subjects such as maths, English, IT, and science. Class Act airs every Monday to Thursday at 5:30 p.m. on City TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182. Don't forget your pens, pencils, and your notebooks, and tune in to Class Act, only on City TV.
Welcome back. It's Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, we're going to do a playback of our consumer technology segment, and the reason being that a lot of us are home now and we are trying to find learning platforms to keep our minds active. So we're going to play back online learning platform conversation with Philip Kofi Ashong, who's host of City Trends and head of production here at City TV. We'll take a look at that and then continue the show. Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for being with us. And we've been joined by Philip Ashong, host of City Trends. Good morning.
Good morning, Jiva. How
are you?
I like this side of the set.
Really?
Yeah,
it's your
really
first time here,
it's
isn't
my
it?
first time. No, it's actually my second time on this side of the set. But I like it. I like
what do you
the
like about
view.
it?
I like the view, especially.
Ooh.
Especially GCB on that side, and all of these.
Some other banks.
Yeah, whatever. But I like this. I like this view. There's a mango tree down there, so yeah, it can always inspire you.
Good. What are we talking about today?
So today we, after all the productivity apps that we've had a look at in the past month, I was just thinking about the feedback that we got and how people still want to do more with themselves in the new year. And one of the things that struck me was people want to learn. Like, they want to learn a couple of things. They want to learn new skills. They want to learn new languages. They want to learn how to play the guitar. They want to learn so many different things. But sometimes they feel restricted because they don't have the time to go for a class in some location, or they don't have the money to even pay for some of the courses and things like that. And I also realized that a lot of people are very in tune with the certificate mindset, not necessarily picking up the knowledge mindset.
But just to get a certificate.
Just to get a certificate. And it struck me as very worrying. And I just felt that it was something that we should discuss.
Awesome.
And so I just basically checked out some of the resources that are available to me, and today we're going to talk about 4 of them. We'll continue next week because there are quite a number of resources available. Some of them free, some of them are available for very little amounts of money. But then all these are helping people to pick up new skills and learn new things and explore the world in a completely different sort of way. And so we're going to talk about 4 of them today.
4 of them. Okay, so but before we start talking about them, can you just give us a bit of your views on the advantages of learning online versus offline?
Well, I think online just allows you freedom and space and time, because typical example, you're a reporter. You come in the morning, you probably have 2 or 3 stories that you need to do. What happens probably an hour before lunch is what happens an hour after lunch. What happens around 3 p.m. when the news day is kind of slow. You're in the office, you're a banking official. You've gone out, you've checked out your clients, whatever. You've come back. You have some 30 minutes on your hand. What online offers you is the ability to be able to learn even on the go. You're sitting in a trotro in the morning. You want to learn a language. You don't necessarily need to sit in a physical classroom to learn a language. You can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes and learn a course or learn a language or some part of a language, subject, verb, agreements, and French, whichever. And there are resources available to help you do that. Most of these resources are also available as mobile applications. So, you don't even need to have the app to do it. You can just log on to some website or just download the app and then use it. There are options available. You can learn anytime, anywhere, at your own convenience. You're not restricted to some location, or you're not restricted to some particular person you don't like, because sometimes all of these things are important. You see some teacher, you don't like his height, you don't like the color of his hair,
or even their style of
teaching. It can be anything, and all of these things impact the way people take on knowledge. And sometimes the way that the knowledge is impacted, like it's not very comfortable for you, but sometimes you don't really have a choice because you've paid for the course. But then when you have the opportunity to change the way the knowledge is given you, and it's made more interesting, and you can share knowledge with so many different people from across the world, sharing different ideas. It opens you up to so many different opportunities, and I think that's where the advantage of learning online really comes from.
Excellent.
Whether it's free or you pay for it, I think the freedom that you have to choose the time you want to learn, how you want to learn, the people you want to collaborate with, and like you said, the convenience, it's super cool.
Excellent. So what do you have for us today?
So today we are going to look at a number of avenues. The first one is Udemy.
Udemy.
Udemy. That's the spelling. Udemy. And basically what they say is that they are improving lives through learning.
Okay.
They're improving lives through learning.
How do they do that?
Well, we're going to. I checked out the website because I wanted to walk people through it. So Udemy, we're just going to see a quick demo of basically how to run through it, and I'm going to walk viewers through it so they can see what exactly it looks like on the platform. So this is Udemy's website. You go there, and there are a number of categories that you can see. There are so many different courses that you can take, some in photography, in video, in design, in project management, in music. So many different options available to you, and then when you choose a particular category, there are subcategories that you can choose from.
Wow.
And there are so many different topics that come with all of these. Now, if for example there's something in particular you are looking for, you know, there's a search bar when you close the category section. There's a search bar where you can basically type in the subject or the topic that you want to learn about, and the options will be available to you.
So if I want to learn about photography, for example, I just type
in photography, or just go to categories and then scroll down to photography, and then it will give you different options. So if you want to do portrait,
beginner or your
all of that is taken care of. So if, for example, you want to do landscape, you want to do wildlife photography, you want to do portrait photography, all of that is taken care of.
Wow.
And there are so many different courses that are made available. Now what's interesting is there are over 300 million students who are currently using the Udemy platform.
300 million.
Yeah, and there are 100,000 courses available on the Udemy platform as at today. They have 42,000 instructors.
Incredible.
They have 42,000 instructors. Imagine 42,000 instructors all over the world, and it's available in 50 plus languages. That is how cool Udemy is. And I mean, it's a pretty straightforward platform. You just go there, look for the subject, or you go to the categories if it's complicated for you. And basically this is the layout. You just go there and then you just see them. Now some of the courses, some of them are free, but then most of them are available starting from about $11. So
which is still affordable for the knowledge you get.
$10 as well. I mean, like 50 CDs basically for a course. Sometimes a 2-week course, sometimes a 4-week course, depending on the course that you want to take. Basically, Udemy offers you an opportunity to learn on the go. The courses are very flexible in terms of the way they are put together. There are video tutorials in case things get a little confusing for you. So yeah, I mean, that is Udemy. UDEMY is the platform, improving lives through learning, and that's just one of the courses. This is an IT and software course, and as you can see, there's a breakdown of so many different things: IT security or cyber security. So many different topics that you can pick from.
I mean, I'm looking at the site, and it's so clean and organized as well.
Exactly, and at the bottom you can see some of the popular instructors there. Wow. If you want to check out their profiles, you can see
their ratings.
Exactly, and then you get to see, so you can see the rating system, as you're saying, the popularity of the courses and things like that. Not necessarily saying pick the most popular course, but look through it, see what is comfortable for you, and then just go with it. Now, what's happening globally, of course, is also the fact that people are gaining advantage in workplaces, in life, by some of these courses that they take. So you don't necessarily need a certificate to be able to prove you can do it. If you have a job, for example, and you're looking at, picking up a few skills along the way just to make yourself a little more competitive, these are some of the platforms that you should be checking out. So the website is Udemy, or UDEMY. Just Google it right now, whether on your phone or on your laptop or wherever.
So you can download the app as well.
You can download the app, and then you're good to go. I mean, so it's there for you. There's knowledge available for you if only you want it. And I'm guessing that people want to make their lives better in 2019. So Udemy is the very first one. There's a course on leadership and all of that.
Wow.
So you can just check it out.
So be it IT, photography, filming,
no matter the course,
you can find it.
Just dive in. Just dive in. And it's not that expensive. It's like just 50 CDs for a course. You can learn so much. And even at the end, if you want a certificate, you will get a certificate for it.
That's not the focus.
But that's not really the focus. That's not the point. The point is gaining the knowledge and
the skill set.
Gaining new skills, just to make yourself more competitive. Now, the second one is a platform called Quora. Quora is basically a platform where people come ask questions and then experts around the world answer the questions. And one thing I like about Quora is you can vote for the best answers, so that anybody who logs in and asks a question, you're always offered the best answer possible. Wow. And so when you go to the platform, for example, and we can check out the platform as well.
Okay.
So basically, when you log in, the platform asks you what your interests are. So this is me going through some of my interests. Of course, technology is number one, science, a bit of sports, a bit of health. I'm just basically just running through some of the topics that I was interested in. And it's available to you as well. Whatever topics you want. You just choose it. Them. Now, what happens is that what it does with that information is when you go to the platform, you need to see what other people are talking about. But you just don't want to see just any kind of topic. You want topics that you can relate.
You actually care about.
You can relate to. So once you pick out these, they curate what conversations have been had around the topic, or what questions people have asked around the topic you are interested in, and then they curate that for you. So once you're done with this process, all the topics are available for you. You can see what people have been asking, what people have been talking about, questions people have been asking all over the world, the answers that the experts have been giving. And what I like about Quora is literally anybody and everybody has a question around the world right now. And there are people around the world right now who will have answers for you. And some of these people are available on platforms like Quora. It can be anything from what is 1 + 1 - 2 into brackets 3 times 4 to what is the molecular construction of a ceiling fan. Like anything you want to ask, just put it there. You will get someone who will answer the question for you. And that's what I like about the platform. So, once you select the topics that you're interested in, you're presented with basically a breakdown of questions people have asked around the topics you are interested in. And as you can see on the left side, there's all the topics that you are interested in are listed on the left side. So if there are any issues or questions that people have asked or are asking about those particular topics, you can just basically go there and then you'll find them. So that's basically what Quora looks like. You can ask a question, a new question at the top. You can get notifications depending on the questions that you've asked. If anybody answers them, you can find them, just click on it, and then technology trends was one of the topics I was interested in. So questions that people are asking, for example, will just pop up and you're good to go.
Wow.
So
you don't have
easy.
to go around asking questions.
Just type it in. When someone answers a question, a notification will pop up and you're good to go.
Is it free?
Yes, Quora is free. It's absolutely free. Wow. Just ask the question and go. Just
awesome.
Just ask the question,
and you're done.
And you're good. Connect people.
So Udemy to learn,
yes,
and Quora to
learn as well, but then ask questions.
Okay.
But Udemy is sort of like a school, sort of a virtual school of sorts. But Quora is genuinely for the community learning, bringing different people together, connecting different people with different banks of knowledge together to basically share ideas.
That's
and
impressive.
It's really cool. So please do check it out. Quora. Quora. That's Quora. So please check it out. Quora. Our next platform is called Future Learn.
Future Learn.
Yes.
What is that about?
Future Learn basically offers you a diverse selection of courses, and just like Udemy does. But the interesting thing about Future Learn is that almost everything is literally free. Almost everything is literally free. So learn new skills, pursue interests, advance your career. Search for online courses. Now, what I like about this is they offer different types of courses. So there's the short course. You know, you want 2 days, 3 days.
You're done.
Quick run through. You're gone. You're probably going for a job interview in a week, and you know you've probably told them that you have awesome skills in Photoshop, and you're probably just basic. You want quick touch up. Go to Future Learn,
and you're good.
Type it in, and then you're good. Then they have, you know, the ones that require more insight. And of course, they have the ones that require a little more time, like full-length courses. So whatever your needs are, whether it is a short, aka thing that you want to do, or it is something that you need more insight in, or it's something that you want to take a full, like, degree-type course in, Future Learn offers you.
So there you have it, the online platforms where you can actually learn as well. We learned about Udemy, Quora, and Future Learn. Now, as Philip said, Future Learn is just like Udemy, but everything is absolutely free. Almost everything is absolutely free. And of course, Quora is a platform where you can ask questions and learn from your peers as well. So I hope you visit these sites and keep that mind of yours active as we're going through this period. Don't go anywhere. Breakfast Daily will be right back.
It's here, the Express Pay app. More social, more power, more services. Experience a cooler way of payments with exciting new features. Want to go social? Upload a cool image to add a personal feel to your account. Payments are even more seamless with an enhanced process. Mark some accounts as favorites so they are super easy to access. Even cooler, view payment due dates and check remaining balances for your favorite accounts. Want to repeat a payment? Do that right from the History tab. Have all your money in one place with a sleek look and feel. Bank Direct has had an awesome makeover. You can now send money instantly to 22 banks and counting. Express Pay. Payments simplified.
Welcome back. We're going to have an interesting conversation with the Royal Commonwealth Society of Africa. But before we do that, let's take a look at this video.
My name is Jocelyn Dumas, and I am a Commonwealth Goodwill Ambassador. Over the past few weeks, the world has been under a major threat. This threat cuts across all geographic, race, creed, age, and gender lines. Here is how you protect yourself and stop it from spreading. The sun, the moon, ginger or pepper cannot fight it. 1. If you cough or sneeze, cover your mouth with your elbow or hand. 2. Wash your hands regularly with soap under running water for 20 seconds or more, or use an alcohol-based sanitizer. 3. Maintain social distance. Avoid crowded places and don't shake hands. 4. If you feel unwell, seek medical care by calling the public health line in your country. Stay well, stay hydrated, and maintain a healthy lifestyle. Together, let us fight and defeat COVID-19. My name is Jocelyn Dumas, and I am a Commonwealth Goodwill Ambassador. Over the past few weeks, the world has been under a major threat. This threat cuts across all geographic, race, creed, age, and gender lines. Here is how you protect yourself and stop it from spreading. The sun, the moon, ginger or pepper cannot fight it. 1. If you cough or sneeze, cover your mouth with your elbow or hand. 2. Wash your hands regularly with soap under running water for 20 seconds or more, or use an alcohol-based sanitizer. 3. Maintain social distance. Avoid crowded places and don't shake hands. 4. If you feel unwell, seek medical care by calling the public helpline in your country. Stay well, stay hydrated, and maintain a healthy lifestyle. Together, let us fight and defeat COVID.
All right, welcome back. So, I have my guests have joined me by Zoom, and we're going to be talking to them right now. John Appiah, who is the regional coordinator for the Royal Commonwealth Society of Africa, is on the line with us, as well as Lydia Forson, who is also a Goodwill Ambassador. So good morning to you all.
Good morning.
So, John, let me start with you. Give us an updated sense of what the Commonwealth is and what the Royal Society is about.
Thank you very much for having us on the show, and nice speaking to you viewers who are watching. I think just to put it in 60 seconds, the name Commonwealth, I think most of you have heard it. Initially, when I was in Ghana and I was telling people about the Commonwealth, they usually thought I was talking about the hall in Lagos.
Yeah.
And so we've had to, exactly, and that shows what we had to do with the brand in terms of the Commonwealth brand. I always like to say the Commonwealth brand is very Ghanaian and very British. In terms of, Ghanaians, we don't like to sell ourselves. And the Brits are pretty much the same. There's a lot of other nationalities that know how to sell themselves very well.
Yeah.
But I think there's a phrase, an African proverb that says, "Arimpa and Kasa." We don't make too much noise. But in the background, we've been doing a lot of work to build a lot of structures that you see today. So what the Commonwealth is an association of 54 countries.
Okay.
Most of the countries were colonized by the United Kingdom, but we have countries that were not colonized by the United Kingdom that are part of this association now. So it's a members club of 54 countries. We're spread across the whole world. It's probably only the Antarctica that we are not in, but we're spread across the whole world. We have over 2.4 billion citizens, lots of nationalities, lots of languages. So in terms of the reach, we have a massive reach. We're headed by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and we have most of our headquarters in the United Kingdom, and we have regional offices across all continents. So that is what the Commonwealth is. Now, just in a nutshell of what we do, I think it can be encapsulated within 4 thematic areas that were decided last year at the Commonwealth Heads of last 2 years, actually, time flies. In 2018, we had the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in London. And we came together with a structure where we have 4 thematic areas, which is prosperity, sustainability, security, and fairness. All the programs and all the interventions that we have fall into these 4 thematic areas, which are very much linked to the United Nations SDGs as well.
Okay.
And our objective is to promote the values of the Commonwealth, which is democracy, rule of law, human rights, fairness, secure nations, prosperous nations. The list goes on. And we're very excited to have people like Lydia Forson, who we know has risen to the top of her game. In Ghana, Jocelyn Dumas as well is one of our Goodwill ambassadors that you saw her little Kung Fu video that she did for us, of which Lydia Forson, I think, will be doing a challenge Kung Fu video of some sort, martial arts video later on. Lydia, I hope you're up for it.
Such pressure.
Yes, so that is what we represent. I'm sure you'll ask me more questions, but that is who the Commonwealth is. It's an organization just like the UN that likes to promote social change and help people around the world. But I think even what we have that organizations like the United Nations, other associations don't have, is that we're friends within this society, because they say people do business with people they like, right? You find out within the Commonwealth, out of the 2.4 billion citizens, we are all linked by shared language. a lot of shared legal systems. Our legal systems are the same across board, and shared cultural values. The list goes on. So it's easier to transact business with someone in a Commonwealth country than if, for instance, you're dealing with someone in a Francophone country. There's language barriers, and there's a lot of other barriers to do business with or to interact with. But within the Commonwealth, it makes everything easier. And we are looking at how we can actually galvanize on that soft power.
All right, so looking at the Africa context, so you have the Royal Commonwealth Society of Africa. I understand we have 19 countries in there?
Yes, we have 19 countries, yeah.
All right, so what is it that you're looking to achieve in terms of the season that we find ourselves? I know that you've been looking at the concept of, pulling us all together, and just as you said, the prosperity, sustainability, security, and fairness. Just share with us a little bit about the Africa context.
So within the Africa context, let me tell you that in terms of even the goodwill ambassadors that we have on, we were not supposed to be operational until June, when it was supposed to be the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Kigali, in Rwanda. Then all of a sudden, COVID came. And we realized that we had to have an emergency response to what was going on. Within the African context, our first plan is that a lot of the time you're finding out lots of information, whether you're watching City or Joy or Star or GTV or TV3 in Ghana, or whether you're watching Al Jazeera or CNN or other local channels in all these different countries, you're getting the information from WHO, which, as you see from the video, we've incorporated that into the video. But one thing that we wanted to be clear across board is that within Africa, one thing that we have that is worth billions is about staying alive and having hope and staying united. And hence our message with these videos that we started with was about staying united, because you realize that when a lot of these things happen, like these diseases cut across continents and there's pandemics or endemics, you realize that things fall apart. People start fighting each other. You've seen the videos where people have been fighting over toilet roll, in malls, etc. People start fighting each other. People start being selfish with one another, not sharing what they have. If there's only one tin of tomato left in the mall, everyone is fighting over it and trying to grab it. But what we are trying to say is that everyone chill. We are in it together, and if we stay united, we can fight this common enemy together. And that is our message across the whole Africa. It's about hope, about staying united, and being each other's brothers' keepers. We can only go through this if we actually stay united. Let's not fall apart at such an important time. And that is our overall message that we have.
All right, now, it seems quite interestingly coincidental that your theme for this year was delivering a common future, and then somehow COVID-19 seems to have put us all in a space where we basically do have a common future.
And I think for me that is the beauty of what the name Commonwealth stands for. It's about the wealth that we have in common. And it's about that commonality that we have to realize that you look at nations like USA, you look at nations like Italy, these are nations that most people will say they have a very superior healthcare system. But look at what has happened. What has happened is showing you that no country is an island. We all have to work together, and we've been very fortunate, like I said earlier on, that in Africa we've been behind the curve. Usually with industrial revolutions and with technological innovations, etc., we've been behind the curve, and that has been a negative thing. But we've been very fortunate that this time behind the curve means that we're being able to learn from mistakes. So we realized that in Africa, we had lockdowns much earlier than Europe and North America, because we were learning from what was happening and putting it into place.
All right.
And that is how we have a common future.
Okay, let me talk to Lydia. Lydia, as a goodwill ambassador, what's your role in this fight that we have against COVID-19?
Thank you, David. I think, you know what, John has pretty much said it all, and the things he said have aligned with some of the messages I've been putting out there. You know, when you're an entertainer, you have a huge following, you have a big platform, and it's always an opportunity to use it to disseminate information. I've been trying my best. I mean, you follow me, David. We have a lot of interactions online. As much as I can, you know, for me, it's about information, educating people, and also spreading the message that together we can get through this. A lot of times, you know, some of these messages get lots, you know, in the cracks, especially with all the politics in there. For me, it's important to remind the people of what matters and how we can join forces and get through this together. But more than anything, what I'm passionate about is informing people, educating people, because there's a lot that people don't know about this, and it's my job to educate them.
All right, so why would you? It looks like the spread. I mean, John made reference to that, the fact that we've done lockdowns and so on. Is that enough to explain why the spread is slower in Africa? What do you all think?
You know what? I can only hope. I'm not a scientist. I don't know the numbers, the ins and outs. I can only talk from a layman's point of view. I also want to believe that Africans also understand the state of their infrastructure, the hospitals. People know, or I want to believe people know that, listen, if this thing, you know, hits hard, it can be catastrophic. So a lot more people are taking initiative. What I've loved about this when I've gone out is people are taking initiatives on their own. They realize the danger they can be in. So they are not necessarily waiting for someone to tell them what to do. They are taking initiative. Although, of course, there'll be a few loose cannons here and there. A lot more people are taking initiative. If you go to, I went to a market even before the lockdown, and the most beautiful sight was, you know, they had the Veronica buckets there. And these market women knew that they didn't have much, but they had the buckets with the soap and water there for people. And I saw a little kid come and wash his hands. People are taking initiatives on their own.
All right, John, you know, we talked about learning lessons from the West and seeing what was happening there, and therefore putting things in place, and you mentioned the lockdown. The lifting of the lockdown, if you look at it in reference to other places, may seem a little premature. What are your thoughts about that?
The lifting of the lockdown is one that all of us have been talking about, whether it was or whether it was apt. But one thing I'll tell you, as Lydia happily mentioned, is that I'm not a health professional myself. And so in terms of any permutations or algorithms that were done statistically, I'm not privy to it. I've seen some of them. But the thing I do know is the fact that the disease travels when people travel. And that is why the lockdown has been very important, as well as social distancing, to make sure that it's a preventative tool that stops people from passing the disease. Because it's either you try to prevent it, or when it happens, you try to treat it. And we realize that even in developed economies, it's been very hard to treat and contain it. My problem within the animal is that our system is very different from the West and North America. If the lockdown is not lifted as well, how are people going to cope? Those working in the informal sector, you know, people like barbers, small traders who sell food, how are they going to live? So I know that the African paradox is one that we have to have a comprehensive knowledge of what happens economically. We don't have the facts to that. A lot of the preventative measures for COVID-19 have been experimental all the way through. At one point, everyone was wearing face masks. Then we said, no, face mask doesn't help you. And then this helps you, and that doesn't help you. So I think we're all learning. So to answer your question, whether it's premature or not, I don't have the full facts from an expert point of view. But one thing I can tell you is that the African situation is a very, very complex one. It's
all
not
right,
like
so
the West where they have... Yeah.
So finally, if you can help us to just briefly in a few seconds, what is the Commonwealth as a as a group helping the its African brothers?
So the Commonwealth, we've set up a coronavirus tracking resource center at the headquarters. And what that does is that we're giving a lot of our member countries, member state countries, a lot of information and data which is coming from WHO and other organizations. We, being the Commonwealth, have a lot of data across board. And what we're doing is using that data to actually help our governments, our member state governments, to actually see how best they can combat this disease. So we're working with the health ministries, we're working with the information ministries, we're helping with the seats of government to see how we can use data, how we can pool funds together, how we can help procure what is needed within those respective countries. So that is at the macro level. At the micro level, we're doing what we're doing with Lydia Forson, Jocelyn Dumas, and other ambassadors to try and spread knowledge and information about how you prevent yourself and how you combat COVID-19 and how you stay united during these terrible times.
Thank you. And Lydia, any final thoughts for us before you go?
I'm just going to continue to reiterate, the points I've been making all over social media that, stay home if you can, stay safe, wash your hands. It's also an important period for us to help each other. I think, you sometimes forget that whatever you're going through, someone is going through almost the same thing. So help where you can. And I really do believe that we can beat this if we acknowledge that we can get through this together.
All right, thank you. We've been speaking with John Appiah, who is the regional coordinator for the Royal Commonwealth Society of Africa, and also to Lydia Forson, who is a Goodwill Ambassador for the same society. Well, earlier on we enjoyed some good music from Prince Matthew. Let's take a look at this video. We'll come back and have a conversation with him.
Us. Shall overcome by Prince Matthews. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I hope you're good too.
I'm good. Really powerful music
Thank
there.
Thank you.
What inspired it?
It's actually COVID, the current happenings and what we find ourselves in inspired this. So this song has been ringing in my spirit since this thing started.
Wow.
And then I think during the lockdown period, I decided to just put it together at home and then record it. So I had my friends all over the world record at home and then we put it together.
Yes. The video is beautiful.
Thank you.
Music for our soul. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm Prince Matthews. I'm a musician and yeah.
You've worked with a lot of gospel musicians.
Yes, I've worked with a lot of musicians, not just gospel musicians, but yes.
Name them: Gilberto, Koda.
Yes, New Kind. So many of them,
Send
10 praise
us.
groups.
But tell us about your career. How has the journey been for you?
Well, the journey has been amazing. It has been interesting. It's been there's been a lot to learn because I didn't study music professionally as a course in school. I did economics, but I did the music based on the passion I had for it, and then based on the background I had, I decided to try out a few things and see what's viable. Yes. So music is based on the passion I have for it, and then the message I want to carry across. For instance, I don't just come out with songs. If I'm moved and touched and I have a message, then I come out with a single. So for this for instance, yes, this one, and then I have another song, We Are One.
Yes.
It also came during the election period. So
wow.
That's
What should we expect from you this year?
This year, well, this has come, and I'm sure when the COVID is over, we'll definitely have other things to praise and thank God for taking us through this. Yes, and I know this will be over. We'll hug again, we'll shake hands again, and we'll be excited.
Can't wait for that.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm sure when COVID is over, I'll definitely bring something out again.
Okay. Now, not only have you worked with a lot of local artists, you've worked with a lot of international artists.
Yes.
How have you gotten into these spaces?
You
mention some of them for us so our viewers have an idea.
Donny McClurkin, Juanita Bynum, Micah Stumpley, Dietrich Hayden.
Wow.
And quite a number of African artists as well.
How did you get in these spaces?
I think your gift to take you before kings and queens. So
wow.
Yes, it's just by grace and God opened doors for me.
Wow, and you've not disappointed. We're so proud of you. Where do we follow you on social media?
Okay, on Instagram I'm Prince Hakim GH.
Okay.
The Hakim is Hakeem.
Okay.
And then on Facebook I'm Prince Matthews.
Nice.
And on Twitter I'm Prince Hakim GH as well.
And where can we get all of your singles, not just...
Oh, they are online. Most of these ones are inspirational, so I don't put them on for sale. They are up for free downloads.
Nice.
Anytime you are down and you need something to revive your spirit, you can just download and listen to it.
Wow. And what's your YouTube channel?
YouTube is also Prince Hakim Matthews. Because all the songs are there. Actually.
So we can enjoy all your songs. Thank you so much. Any word of advice for the nation as you're going through this?
There's the same advice you've been saying all morning. And they should keep safe, they should stay safe. They should adhere to all the measures that have been put in place to keep us protected from this virus. And at the end of it, we'll all be happy and excited to see each other again. Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And thank you at home for joining us for Breakfast Daily. Now don't forget that on Friday we have Rally Round the Flag, where we'll be celebrating our healthcare workers from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. A lot of you have already started sharing messages of health workers who have impacted your lives with us. Keep those messages coming. We'll try and read some of them tomorrow morning as well. But this has been Breakfast Daily. I do this with David Kwekusechi every morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.